Welcome everybody. It's great to have everyone here for our demonstration on configuring the ProCloud server for remote collaboration. My name's Scott Hebbard from Sparx Systems, and I'm really looking forward to presenting today's topic. And in order to do the recording, I set up ProCloud server on my laptop at home. It was a Windows 10 laptop, and it was really exciting to be able to start from first principles and be able to install the ProCloud server on a laptop in 10 minutes and get it up and running. So the most important thing I want you to take away from today's session is that if you're an existing Enterprise Architect user, you can download the ProCloud server free of charge and get it up and running very quickly. And within 10 minutes, it can be up and running. Now, for this particular example, I'm using a local web server called XAMPP, but there are other alternatives that you're welcome to choose. So today we're going to be looking at configuring the ProCloud server for remote collaboration. The agenda for today, I'm going to briefly talk about how to submit questions, and I'm pleased that a number of people responded to my audio test before. I'm going to go through and show you how to install the ProCloud server. We're going to discuss some of the ProCloud server benefits and show you what you can get for free as an existing Enterprise Architect user. And then at the end, we're going to examine some of the pro features. So please note that audio is muted for all participants. You'll be able to type questions to the host. And if we can't answer all questions live, we'll follow up offline. So we're using GoToWebinar. So simply enter the questions into the text box, hit send or hit enter on the numeric keypad, and that will come through to me as the host. And at the end of the session, we'll try to spend some time responding to those questions. So now we're going to look at the product installation demonstration. Now, what's really good is that on the Sparx Systems website, there are detailed instructions about how to download and how to install the ProCloud server. So on screen, you can see on the Sparx Systems website, we list a number of products, including Enterprise Architect, Liberate, and the ProCloud server. If we look at the overview for the ProCloud server, there's lots of information that explains what the ProCloud server is and how it can be used to take your existing Enterprise Architect models and make them available. If you read the instructions and setup guide, it tells you step by step how to download, install, and run the ProCloud server. And you can see that it can be downloaded from the registered users section. So if you already have a copy of Enterprise Architect for free, you can download the installer and start using it today. And it even provides a link so that you can go straight there, select on the ProCloud server, and go to the download section and get that straight away. So we're using the ProCloud server version 4.1, and there's detailed release notes. And it prompts you, and all you need to do is enter your registered user credentials, and you can jump in and access. And you can see it's an MSI file called ssprocloudserver.msi, and all you need to do is then simply double click to run the procloud.msi installer, click next, read the end user license agreement, and step through and install the application. So it's very straightforward, and I think one of the great things about Sparx Systems tools is that you can download them, they have a small footprint, and they're very, very easy to install. And this continues with the ProCloud server. So as I said, this was recorded on my Windows 10 laptop, and I just wanted to set up another instance using the latest version. So have a look at the end user license agreement, agree to the terms, click next, and you can see we have the various operating systems that are supported here. Now, for this particular example, I'm installing on a Windows 10 machine, but a number of other operating systems are supported. So you can see there are a number of different options here for installation. Now, if you're going to set up using an IIS web server, then you can install that. But for this particular example, I'm just using a local copy of XAMPP. And if you do want to set up ProCloud Server, but you want it running in AWS, there are a number of service companies around the world that can help you get this up and running on a commercial cloud provider, making your enterprise architect models available via the web and via the cloud to anyone in the world. And one of the advantages of this is it makes it really, really easy and simple in order to take all of your rich model data and make it available to all of your workers, even if they're working at home or if they're working remotely or you have distributed teams. So you can see once the installation is complete, there are two icons that appear on the desktop. One's a ProCloud configuration client and the other one is a floating license server. Now the next step I'm going to do is I'm just going to install XAMPP. So this gives me Apache and PHP and creates a local web server. And that means I can access things such as WebEA at a later date and have them hosted via localhost. So you may decide to use IIS, you may decide to use other technology. Once again, the website has a detailed setup around the ProCloud server configuration. And you can see all we're really doing is updating the ssprocloud.config file, but there's a nice web-based application to make that really, really simple. You can see that there's a port number 803 for HTTP, and you can see there's for security precautions, the default password is listed on the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to the website and I can see it's PCS admin. So there's a default password there in order to set it up. So I'm running the ProCloud config client. You can see I'm accessing it via localhost and I'm entering the password. So on screen we have our configuration client, and what I want to show you is that for HTTP we're using port 804, for HTTPS, so for secure we're using 805, and you can see there's a tab for integration and for database managers. So what I want to do now is I'm going to create a new file called mycloud.feap and create a new database. Now you'll notice that there's a red dot for that, and that's because this particular database is not enabled. So there are a number of checkboxes here, and you can set up for a read-only connection and a secure connection, but I'm going to now enable this database manager. And now that it's enabled and I click OK, you can see that the dot has now turned green. So that's it. I've now installed my web browser, I've run my configuration, and I have created a new cloud model called my-cloud.feap, and I'm going to connect via HTTP on port 804 and localhost, and I'm going to use the name and alias and model name of my cloud. And that's it. So what I've done is I've taken a ProCloud server, I've installed it in under 5 minutes. I've been able to use XAMPP to create a local host, and you can see that I've created a database, and I'm just going back to the configuration client to show you how I got the port number for that. And so now I've connected via the cloud to an enterprise architect model. Now, at the moment, this model happens to be empty, but it's stored within the Sparx systems folder under a models folder. So you can take an existing model and add that as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a simple pattern, build a mind map, and edit that. And all of this is via the cloud. So what we're doing is we're taking existing enterprise architect models and making them available to anyone around the world, so they can open up their client using enterprise architect and they can navigate to that. Now, whenever you create a new model, it's always a good idea to use the configure tab to go into your options, and under cloud you can see auto create a diagram image and an image map, and auto create HTML page each time the document is saved. And that way, whenever you make a change to your model, then those changes go live immediately. And this is one of the great things about using the ProCloud server, is that any changes that are made will be displayed in real time. Okay, so unlike when you used to create HTML documentation, it would be fixed in time. If you make changes here to the model, then those changes will appear to your stakeholders in real time. And so this is really powerful. And then you can use tools such as WebEA and other technologies in order to have discussions and to have comments and to have feedback and interaction between stakeholders and yourself as the modeler. And as you can see, within Enterprise Architect, you just go File, open a cloud connection, and you enter those cloud details. Now, for this particular example, I'm using localhost. However, you could have a URL and you could have something set up under AWS or under Azure or under another different technology, and you could access your model. So the first part of this webinar is really just to show how easy it is to download and install the ProCloud server for free, to be able to connect to the ProCloud server, and to be able to share models. And all of this is freely available to existing customers. So, this is something that I seem to be talking about lots to people on email, and they don't realize that all of these features, being able to connect to a model via the cloud and being able to download and install the ProCloud server, is free. Now, of course, if you buy the ProCloud server, you get lots of other features and capabilities, such as the WebEA, which allows you to then make this available via a web browser, and lots of other features. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up the rest of my presentation. I'm just going to quickly have a look to see if we have any questions at the moment. And so Kevin asked, I thought a token was required. And yes, you can buy tokens, and those tokens will pay for things such as integrations and for being able to access WebEA and other elements. So this is one of the valuable things about doing this webinar, is I want to show you what you can get for free. So up to this point, everything that we've been able to do is for free. And you can download and install, and you can purchase a license or purchase tokens in order to add particular functionality. Okay, and there's a question about, does it play well or work with version control? So yes, the ProCloud server does work with version control. So I will just bring up the screen, and we'll talk about some of the other features within the ProCloud server. So essentially, ProCloud server allows you to create, collaborate, inform, and integrate. So it allows you to take all of your hard effort and energy that you've invested into Enterprise Architect and to share your modeling efforts. So anybody with Enterprise Architect, as you saw, can access via the cloud those models. They can add messages, they can do model mail, they can invest in project management, all via the cloud. So this allows, and this is the case for Sparx Systems employees, that it allows you to work from home and to be able to access repository data and to be able to contribute to the projects in real time. You can discuss projects in real time, you can apply resources, and you can model and do a number of different things using Enterprise Architect. So essentially, this makes your Enterprise Architect repository ubiquitous. So when at Sparx Systems we all started working from home, I was really pleased with how amazing it is that all the infrastructure is just sitting there at home. I have access to the same model mail. I have access to the same resources. I can see the same models. I can see marketing information. I can see documents. I can see reports that are all stored within the central repository. So it's fantastic to have that all there. And essentially, I just connect via the cloud. And of course, there's lots of security and features in place to make that a secure transition. But it allows me to review models from anywhere, to discuss them, to collaborate, communicate, and interact with staff all around the world using my centralized enterprise architect repository. So what this allows people to do is that you can use the thick client enterprise architect in order to do your modeling, to do your developing, to create your models, your documents, and all of your project work. But what it also does is it means someone remote, either working from home or on site, can look at, for example, the design of a system and see that there might be a problem with it. They can bring up the specifications on their mobile phone. They can select the item that they feel that there is a problem with, and they can comment on that item and send it to the developer in charge in real time. And these model elements and comments get stored in the central repository. So none of these discussions are ever lost. So this also can happen, on a laptop, on a tablet, on a mobile phone, and people can access these models, can provide comments and feedback, and all of that information is essentially stored within the model repository, so that information is not lost. So what this does is it creates, using the ProCloud Server, understanding and knowledge that's shared across the organization, helping to facilitate collaboration. So once again, ProCloud Server allows you to create, collaborate, inform, and integrate. So you can store your comments and discussions in a central repository. You can connect to models via a web browser. You saw before one of the icons was a floating license management, and now that's also available via the cloud. And you have secure access and encrypted communication. So you can feel confident that your information is secure and stored centrally, so things aren't lost. And I can't tell you how many people I talk to at the moment that are, running Zoom meetings and are sending emails, and information is just getting lost. Or people have had conversations, but those discussions aren't captured. However, when using ProCloud Server, any discussions, any comments on the model, any notes are all stored within the repository, so nothing is lost. So if a decision was made 3 months ago, if it's stored in the model with the appropriate model element, that information is not lost. So why use ProCloud Server? Well, there are a number of advantages, and we've had a number of webinars recently that have focused on some of these points. But first of all, it allows stakeholders to work from home. They can access all of your project information, your project management information. They can look at Gantt charts and heat maps. They can create models, be those models in TOGAF, in Archimate, in systems engineering specifications, class diagrams, UML. All of this can be stored within Enterprise Architect, and it can be viewed from home. So this really makes it much easier for people to work from home. It allows you to collaborate with distributed teams, so it doesn't actually matter where people are physically located, because you're all looking at the same single source of truth. You can access remotely with secure encrypted links. The ProCloud Server has been optimized for high latency WAN connections, and it also has been optimized so that if you don't have great data transfer rates, it can manage that. And as I showed you at the start in my installation, that registered users for Enterprise Architect can download and get started for free. So they can at least open Enterprise Architect and connect via the cloud to a model. Now, there are lots of other pro features, and we had a question before from one of our customers talking about tokens and about licensing. So once you pay for the ProCloud server, there are things that you get access to, which I'm going to talk about today. So WebEA. So WebEA allows you to view diagrams. You can create issues, requirements, use cases, and lots of different model elements using a web browser. It allows you to track model changes, and you can seek feedback. And the great thing is all of this is based on what's created in the model in real time. And so you can have real-time discussions with developers that are sitting using EA. You can be out in the field or working from home, and you can comment on model elements via WebEA. You can, of course, configure WebEA so it looks much more like your own corporate style and structure and design. So WebEA allows you to access models, and there's an example on our website that allows you to have a look at the EA example model. Now, for the EA example model, we've turned off some of the discussion features and things like that, but using the configuration utility, you can give people read-only access, you can allow them to comment, you can allow them to create their own requirements, and you can set it up and you can say which users can see what aspects of the model, and you can control what abilities and abilities to read or edit they have, and you can manage that, and you can manage passwords and things like that as well. WebEA allows you to create cloud-based model collaboration. It provides real-time web access so that people can look at a business process or system specification or a TOGAF diagram, and they can see it in real time, and they can discuss any of those model elements, and those discussions are stored with the model element so that they are not lost. So this is really quite powerful. I talked about the floating license server, and so there's lots of our corporate clients that want to be able to manage their floating licenses via the cloud, and so we also facilitate floating license server so that it can all be done via the cloud. So we have an integrated floating license server with a ProCloud server, and it's managed by a Windows application installed in the client folder, and so you can allocate your floating licenses or via the cloud as well. So what this actually provides is you have a integrated, elegant solution, and some of the integrations that are supported, and each of these integrations you can buy a token for these individual integrations, or you can get your different licenses. And please, if you have any questions about costs or licensing costs for the ProCloud server, please email sales@sparxsystems.com, and they'd be more than happy to give you a quote and to provide more information. But we have integration with Jira, Confluence, Application Lifecycle Management, Jazz, and Doors-NG, Team Foundation Server, ServiceNow, SharePoint, and many more. So we're certainly working on those integrations, and what it does is gives you the world's best practice as far as modeling is concerned in Enterprise Architect. But if your organization does happen to use Jira tickets or use some of these other technologies, then it allows you to bring the best of that world into Enterprise Architect without losing all the powerful modeling features within Enterprise Architect. And there's also a reusable asset service within Enterprise Architect, and many of you may have already used that before, but you can now connect to that using the cloud as well. So there's a rich set of resources there around the reusable asset service. So Sparx Systems has Enterprise Architect, and so Enterprise Architect is for modeling and provides the thick client that allows you to create your models. You have the ProCloud server, and on the ProCloud server, things such as WebEA and Liberate run. And in a moment, will just briefly talk about Liberate as well, which is another Sparx Systems product. which allows you to gain access to content. So I'm just going to very quickly talk about Liberate, and then I'm going to open up to the floor for questions. And okay. So Liberate is designed for social collaboration to foster engagement. So it allows you to discover how to use information in your models to drive key decisions. So it's great for personalization, collaboration, and for managing workflows. So Liberate, which is another product which you can purchase, provides curated dashboards, seamless collaboration, digitalized knowledge management, allows you to produce real-time reports and agile model reviews. And all of this is based on the ProCloud server, which we have seen today. So it allows you to create dynamic dashboards, such as the one shown here on screen. It allows you to, create an application portfolio summary, and you can create personalized dashboards for your BAs, for your executives, for your management team that provides the information that they need when they want it. You can visualize the path to your organization's goals. So here's your standard roadmap being delivered via Liberate. And you can do real-time charts, and you can, of course, experience some of the integration that I talked about before with Confluence and SharePoint, all within the ProCloud server. So what I might do now is I'll jump over and answer some questions, and then I'll wrap this session up. And I'd like to thank everyone for their questions. So I've got some questions here. How does the ProCloud server work? So does it support role-based security and the floating license server? So I did, that question came in a little bit earlier, but as you can see, we do support the ProCloud server, and it does also support role-based security. Okay, and it says, will WebEA replace the HTML generator over time? There are some people that want to create a single static web page and for a fixed point in time for a report. Yes, that still happens, and some people purchase EA, and the main value they get out of EA is by being able to press F8 and being able to generate out a report, be it a HTML report or Word document. So this is still a very popular feature, but it is true that once you see your documents being generated and delivered via WebEA in real time, it really makes it seem archaic the way some organizations hand out a physical document that the minute it's printed, it becomes out of date. So it's really nice being able to look at WebEA, look at a report, look at content, and see that that's it's real, it's live, and it's up to date. So the next type of question from Mario talks about licensing. So what I might do is I will bring up the Sparx Systems website. And if you go to pricing, you go here to ProCloud server. So you can see you can buy an individual token for annual subscription, $108. So the token approach means that you can get using ProCloud server on a very, very cost-effective basis. And so you can try it out, and you can see it scales easily, approximately $9 per month per token. So it's really, really cost-effective. But we do also have the Team Server Edition and the Enterprise Edition, And each of these, you can see the Team Server Edition allows support for 7 repositories, where the enterprise version has unlimited models of any type and unlimited web users. So the pricing is clear, it's concise, it's on our website. But once again, if you want to find out, you can simply click this button here for contact sales, and you can find out how it's going to be relevant to your situation. Someone says, why use WebEA when you have Liberate? So WebEA basically allows you to make your models available, and it takes all of your, your SysML specifications, your UML, your code, your models, and makes it available via the web. But in order to understand those models, you need to have a reasonably good understanding of Enterprise Architect and those diagrams. So Liberate is designed for a different type of non-technical user that can produce charts and heat maps and roadmaps and things that are much more targeted at decision makers that may not necessarily have a modeling background. And so there's another question from Mario saying, I have an Enterprise Architect license. Can I install the ProCloud server for free? So as you saw, I went to the website. I downloaded the ProCloud server. I entered my Enterprise Architect registered user credentials, and I was able to download and install the ProCloud server for free. And from that point, I was able to open up Enterprise Architect and connect to a model via the cloud. And you saw that I created my cloud.feap from scratch. So that's really good. And it's free, and that's the one thing that I wanted to pass on today, and for people to take away from this webinar, is that you have access to a number of different resources and collaboration tools. And that first thing, making models available via the ProCloud server, is available for free for existing customers. However, if you want some of the more professional features, then the pricing and purchasing is available online to access WebEA and to access some of the integration tools, and to be able to make some of those available to the web. So I wanted to keep this webinar to half an hour. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance. I can see there are a few more questions coming through, and I will get responses to those and make them available on the website. We'll try and get this webinar published within 24 to 48 hours on YouTube, and we'll also have some of the Q&A responses available on the Sparx Systems website probably within a week or so. So I'd like to thank everybody for their attendance. Thank you for your questions, your passion and enthusiasm. And I look forward to seeing you for our next webinar. And we have another one next week on Archimate. And we have a number of really exciting webinars coming up over the coming weeks and months around the ProCloud server, Enterprise Architect, and much, much more. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much.